Hasta la vista, baby.
Get away from her, you bitch!
I, Iron Man.
Expecto Patronum!
I am your father.
There's a snake in my boot!
What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another review. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. Today I'm going to be reviewing a new thriller from A24, who recently did Everything Everywhere All at Once, and now this time they're bringing back Alex Garland, who brought us Ex Machina and Annihilation, to bring his newest film, Men. This movie stars Jessie Buckley and Rory Kinnear. A young woman goes on a solo vacation to the English countryside following the death of her ex-husband. So I'll be honest with you guys, I actually was very excited for this movie. A24, as I've talked about with many of their movies, they're mostly hits, but some of them have been misses overall. I think the most recent film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, is definitely one of the best movies of this year by far. And so going into this movie, I already knew that Alex Garland was writing it and directing it. The man directed Ex Machina. That's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. I was totally blown away by that movie the more I watched it. However, his most recent film, Annihilation, I wasn't the biggest fan of, like everybody was. I thought it was too out there, euphoric in my opinion, just wasn't my cup of tea. And so going into Men, I actually wanted to see what this film was all about. So Alex Garland's name was attached to it, and I had all the anticipation for it. So what were my thoughts overall in this movie? Is it good? Is it okay? Or is it really bad all the way around and you should skip it? I can say I really enjoyed the film. I will say this movie is an improvement over Annihilation in my opinion. And this one is nowhere close to Ex Machina's level, but I still think this movie was good. The cinematography in this movie is beautiful. Rob Hardy, he did the cinematography for Ex Machina and Annihilation, and this movie looks really suspenseful and creepy. It makes you feel like you are there with Jessie Buckley in this location, this isolated area, and it's a perfect tone all around for this thriller horror film, and Alex Garland just had a vision for this movie, and Rob Hardy, the cinematographer, executed what it wanted it to look. The performances in this movie are really good, especially Jessie Buckley. She recently got an Oscar nomination for The Lost Daughter. I have not seen that movie yet, but she is fantastic in this movie. Gives a very personal, petrified performance, and I just really felt that emotion and that grief she was going through with her character. And it reminded me just a groundbreaking performance, kind of like an Essie Davis in The Babadook. Not in the same league, but just totally different compared to your typical horror thriller performance. Rory Kinnear as well. I'm only familiar with him from the Daniel Craig Bond films, but here he's actually pretty creepy in here. And also just, it seems like your normal, typical kind of guy, but then in the split of a second, just goes absolutely nuts and crazy. There were a couple scenes in here that definitely made me feel a little uncomfortable, especially one in the opening and in the second act. Those by far were the awesome Alex Garlandisms that I really enjoy. It definitely takes its time to build suspense when it needs to. There's a lot of dialogue, kind of like an Ex Machina, and a lot of unique aspects like Annihilation. So Alex Garland did a great job writing the dialogue in this film. And while all around I'd say the first two acts were definitely the best parts, I would say the most flawed would probably be the final act. I wasn't a big fan of the ending of this movie. It kind of leaves you with more questions than answers, and this was kind of an issue I also had with Annihilation. Like, there was way too many questions unanswered. And while it's not all around awful of a final act, it did kind of leave me scratching my head wanting answers answered. And it didn't really have that much of a conflict in the final act. And the film also didn't really have that much intelligence, that impactfulness that I wanted. It didn't have that all-around punch that Ex Machina had. Like, that movie is a masterpiece. This movie has a few little issues that make it from a masterpiece. Before I give you guys my final overall thoughts and score for Men, if this is your guys' first time checking out the channel and you like this review, definitely hit that like button and consider clicking that subscribe button if you want weekly movie reviews and ranking videos. I do those all the time. You guys will definitely not be disappointed. Alex Garland does it again, man. Men all around was a pretty creepy movie. It understood what it was. It has some really good acted performances from Jessie Buckley and Rory Kinnear. Just that third act would probably be where my issues lie, but all around, pretty solid film. On my rating scale, I'm going to give Men a B-. There you have it, guys. That was my thoughts and opinions on Men. What did you guys think of this movie, and what were your thoughts? Did you love it, think it was okay, or did you hate it? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you guys, as always, for watching this review. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!